going on, guys? Appreciate you guys for coming out. First off, just want to thank my wife, Mia, first and foremost. You get into coaching and you got to have unwavering support day to day, and it's impossible to do what we do without that. I want to thank my kids. We got Maddie, as you can see, up in the front row. She's ready to rock with her Bucs outfit. And then my son, Cooper, it's actually his birthday. Let's go ahead and give it up for Big Coop. He just turned 2 today. So all the support that they give is obviously what it's all about. And I want to thank the Glazer family to be able to be a part of an organization that has a history of success and championships. Looking forward to doing a great job for them and the rest of the city of Tampa. I want to thank Coach Bowles. I was telling Coach Bowles, a couple days ago, I'm just glad I don't have to game plan against him anymore because I got no sleep those weeks. And so looking forward to working with a legendary coach who's obviously meant a ton to the game of football. He's a great mentor for people that have been in this role and players, coaches, everybody. So I'm looking forward to working with Coach Bowles. Jason Light and his group, I've only been here a handful of days, and seeing their operation and the way that they communicate, it's evident to see the success that they've had here. It all starts with the leadership from those guys. So with that, I'll open up to you guys.
I see that Cooper's wearing the Mike Evans jersey. How much are you going to be advocating for his return?
Yeah, obviously, got to work through a lot of things. Had a ton of respect for Mike and his game throughout his career. Obviously, watch him from afar. I know he's got to work through a lot of things, but would obviously love an opportunity to work with Mike.
Evans jersey.
It is Mike Evans jersey. Yeah.
With Baker Mayfield, take us through that time and just what that was like and how much that relationship helps lead to this opportunity here.
Sure, it's a big deal. We got Baker in 2022. We'd had some injuries at the quarterback spot, and I've known of Baker for a long time. I went to Oklahoma State. He went to Oklahoma. He diced us up every single time, that they played. Have had a ton of respect from him from afar as a player. And then to be able to get him in there and see just the type of worker he was, I'll never forget, we gave him a handful of plays, short week, Thursday night game. So we gave him kind of a menu of plays, and Baker probably tell you about 20 to 25 plays. And it was like at 10 o'clock at night. He came in the next day, and I saw his notebook. We had bathroom break. I saw his notebook. He had highlighters everywhere, color-coded. And right away I was like, okay, I know the player, I know the talent, but he's made of all the right stuff. And so obviously that time that we spent together was invaluable during a tough season. He came in, ignited that group. But I'm fired up to work with Bake and the rest of the guys. It's a good group of dudes, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You mentioned that he ignited the group. He's told us many times that environment and being there really reignited his love of football. So can you speak a little more to what he was able to do for that group there?
Sure. Yeah, it was, like I mentioned, it was a challenging season. And I know Baker had been through adversity. He had a great success in Cleveland, and then obviously went to Carolina. And he came in right away and was meeting guys for the first time in the huddle on Wednesday practice. And you could just see everybody gravitates towards Baker, and that's what you're looking for from that position. You want that true igniter. You want the guy that elevates the rest of the group. And when you have a guy like that, you have a chance to win every single Sunday. And the impact that he has, obviously, just as a leader, you can speak to the talent and the type of player he is, all those things. But those guys that give you a chance every single Sunday, and the guys in that locker room know it, it's a big deal.
Zach, what about Baker's abilities? What do you like about his abilities, not only at the line of scrimmage and what he can handle from that in your offense, but also getting him out on the move and the bootlegs? For sure. I know you love to do, and how his skill set fits that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Baker was number 1 pick in the draft for a reason. In terms of the arm, there's not a part on the field that he can't attack. So you start there, and then you get to the instincts, the feel for the game. You mentioned the movement part is huge. I mean, you have to be able to move at this day and age in the NFL, as you guys know. And his ability to throw on the run, he's probably the best in the league throwing on the run. He's great in the keeper game, great in the boot game. So looking to evolve that part and make sure that we're playing to Baker's strengths, the rest of the guys' strengths. But that's a huge part. The third down conversions, like those are tough downs, and when you have a quarterback that can obviously extend those plays and pick up first downs with his legs, is huge.
Zach, you're the fifth offensive coordinator in as many seasons. I know that changes for different reasons, but what's the challenge for you to maybe bring some stability to this position and to this offense?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a group of guys that has a lot of continuity. They've played a lot of good football together, and so there'll be some carryover, obviously, from Liam and I worked together in LA. The foundation and the beliefs that we have, coming from Sean and that system is definitely what we're going to be all about. But I'm looking forward to. I feel like I know these guys as players, just from watching tape the last handful of years. But I'm looking forward to obviously getting to know these guys on a personal level. That's what it's all about. And obviously we'll stay connected as a group and build this thing the right way. But it's a great group of guys, great group of coaches, and I'm just fired up to get an opportunity to coach these guys.
So Zach, what is your philosophy? I heard you on, it was either a podcast saying it's players over plays. Do you have a system in mind and then you tweak based on what's here? Or do you basically see what's here and go off of that?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great question. I think we all have a foundational belief in what we want to do scheme-wise. Now, offense is ever evolving, and you're adapting to your players, you're adapting to, your quarterback, your offensive line, the skill group, all those things. And then ultimately, that's what the offseason is great for. It's like I said, there'll be some great carryover. There'll be some, new things that we did in Atlanta. There'll be some things that I've never done, they've never done that might fit us. So the great thing about offensive football, there's more than one way to do it. I think before you even get to scheme and specifics, it's your style of play. And we want our guys to always be in attack mode. We want our guys to play with relentless play energy, effort, and strain. I think you start there, and you want the guys to just love playing the game together. And that's evident from what I've watched from these guys over the last couple of years. So you start with those things, and then you build the scheme and the fundamentals and the techniques after that. But like I said, there's a great foundation here with the players, with the scheme that has been put in place here, and they'll be just tailoring and tweaking from there.
Todd Bowles asked you why you had so much success against his defense the last couple of years.
No, like I said, when we played the Bucs, I got no sleep those weeks. I mean, it is a tough defense to prepare for. Those were great battles. We haven't got too specific into scheme. They did a great job against us the first game of the season. They definitely got after us pretty good. But those games are always challenging, and they were always really good battles.
Zach, you came in to interview, you went to the airport, and then you're called back. Just take us through that whole process, just what your mindset was like.
Yeah, you never know. You feel good about certain things, and then obviously was pumped, to be able to get that phone call. I was about to get, to the airplane, and I was just kind of hanging out by the gate, and Coach Bowles called me, and I was ecstatic. Called my wife, called family, and we were all pumped. So I was definitely one of the best phone calls I've ever gotten. I was happy to get right back up here.
Zach, I'm sure you're still getting to learn the new offense, the players you'll have here. Beyond Baker, what are the things that stand out most to you in terms of the strengths of the offense?
You got to start with the offensive line. I mean, the offensive line is built the right way. When that group is going, there's no offensive line that you'd rather have around the league. So it starts with those guys up front. I think you look at the skill group, and it's a very versatile group. I mean, the receivers speak for themselves. You've got a number of guys that can do a number of different things, and their skill sets all match up really well. So I'm excited about that. And then you take a look at the backs. I didn't study Bucky coming out because we weren't thinking about taking a running back. But then obviously that 24 season, we came on the scene. There was a number of things that he can do in the run and pass game that I'm excited to get to work with. You mentioned, the tight ends, situation. They've got really stable and steady tight ends. Cade's free agent. Those things work themselves out. But yeah, collectively as a group, I mean, it's an exciting as a coach to come in and have that at your disposal, and just looking forward to building this the right way with these guys.
What about the challenges? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What about the challenges of, you mentioned tight ends. Kyle Pitts may be an example. Everybody kind of knows the ball is going to go towards that guy. and yet he's still able to make that play. Just the challenges of having like that guy on your team. Here it's Mike Evans. Or you're still finding those ways to make sure that, and I know they're different positions, but you're still finding ways to get that guy open, that guy that needs to be getting the ball in his hands.
Yeah, that's obviously, you mentioned the players over plays. Like, that's what our job is every single week, to make sure that each guy is getting the right amount of touches in critical moments. You're going to those guys. And so, I wouldn't look at it as a challenge, just because there's so many guys here that can catch the football, that can run with the football, that are so versatile. And so it's really, don't look at it as a challenge, just really a blessing to be able to have that amount of talent that's at your disposal.
Coach, new offensive philosophy, there's going to be a timeline. There's going to be a learning curve. Do you throw it all at them at once, or is it a building block process?
It's a build-up. You start when you get these guys in the building, and you talk about the style of play that I just mentioned. You talk about fundamentals of blocking, throwing, catching, run after catch, ball security. You start there, and then you slowly build the scheme, and obviously that'll be us as coaches, getting together this off-season, collaborative effort, just to make sure that the teaching progression is right. But like I mentioned, there'll be a decent amount of carryover that's going to be great for these guys when they come in. There'll be some new, and so we're definitely looking forward to all of us as coaches, hunkering down over the next couple months, and we know before we know it, the players are going to be back. So it's a fun time of the year when you're able to just get in there with the coaches and get down into it. Hey, what are we? You're figuring out all these different things. Feel like, again, I know these players, but got to know them on a personal level. Got to work with them up close. But it's a fun part of the year for us as coaches to all get together and collaborate on that.
Coach, how much different will this job be for you, where you're not developing a rookie quarterback or young quarterback and an 8-year veteran? What are the differences that you expect?
It's hard because I know Baker so well, and I know the experience that he's had. Obviously, Kirk had great experience too, and we had a young guy. But I mean, you're treating the quarterback position very similarly. You want to have the clarity for those guys. You want to make sure that they have the answers, understanding, hey, the can criteria in the run game. At the end of the day, it's, you're tailoring it to the quarterback's strengths, but you are coaching those guys hard. You're coaching them the same way that you would whether it's a veteran or a rookie. So, obviously Baker's experience with the system, the amount that he can handle from a capacity standpoint is huge. And so all those things will kind of take care of itself. But at the end of the day, coaching the quarterbacks like you coach quarterbacks, obviously you can put more on certain people's plate when they've played and seen so much football like Baker, which we're looking forward to.
How do you think you evolved, Zach, as a play caller during your 2 years?
You learn a lot. You learn through experience, and there's always going to be things as a play caller. You leave that game, and you're going to have a handful of things that you want back for sure. But I think you learn your process of the rhythm of the week, the game planning. You get to Sunday, and there's a lot of feel involved. You have a plan going in, got to be able to adjust. And so those 2 years of that experience is invaluable. And, you're always growing in this game. You're always learning. You're always getting better. And definitely felt like that was the case, just with more experience, just like players. The more experience you get, the better off you're going to be.
Was there anything that Todd specifically told you that you could tell us? Like, be aggressive, I'm going to stay out of it, I'm with the defense? Anything?
I mean, we've just had general conversations, just talking football. I do know that Coach Bowles has been a great mentor. Liam Cohen and I are great friends, and the mentorship that he provided Liam as a young coach coming in, those have been kind of more of the talks that we've had. And I know he's done a great job with handling players, coaches. I mean, everybody looks to Coach Bowles as a true leader and mentor. And so I'm just excited about that part. And then we'll figure out the rest again. Day 2 on the job, so we're kind of hitting the ground running.
Did Liam talk to you? Did you check in with Liam at all?
I talk to Liam basically every day, except for when we were playing against each other. So, but yeah, we stay in contact about football things. Our families are close. So yeah, I talk to Liam basically every day.
So when talking to Liam, did that kind of seal you or sell you on the Bucs job?
I didn't need to be sold on anything for this job. I was excited for this job as soon as it came available, and we were free in Atlanta. This is a great job. And so for a lot of the reasons I've already mentioned, but there was no sell. I was hoping that I got an opportunity to be here, and I'm excited to be here.
In 2023, when you interviewed for the job, 2024, did you feel that you were close? That it went well? And
it never got to that point. There was talks about it, but Raheem, I love him like a brother, and was going to go with Raheem wherever he ended up. Obviously, he got the job in Atlanta, and so went with him, learned a ton from him. He's an unbelievable coach, person, leader, all those things, and those experiences with Raheem have, I'll remember forever. He's, like I said, I love that guy like a brother, and him taking me under his wing and bringing me wherever he was going was pretty cool.
Were you surprised by the way things ended in Atlanta, given that the
Yeah,
team was playing well at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's a results business. Understand those tough decisions are made. But at the end of the day, won't talk about that. Just excited for the opportunity to be here.
Zach, what excites you about Neke, who had a really strong start to his rookie season? What about year 2 for him?
Yeah, he's an unbelievable player. I mean, just the versatility that he brings within the route tree, run after catch. I mean, there's really nothing that he can't do. And obviously you guys all saw it up close all throughout the year. Was able to study him when he was at Ohio State. Actually went to their pro day. Watching him catch the football, I mean, just incredibly great ball skills, all those things that you love. And so any player making that jump from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, you expect to see great strides. I know he had a ton on his plate, just from what he had from, obviously Ohio State. Then you jump into the combine, and then you just get right into it. And so I'm sure, he needed to just take a step back and take a breath of fresh air and kind of reset himself. So I'm looking forward to working with him and the rest of those guys.
When people watch the Bucs offense this season, what do you want to stand out from other teams?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but I think it's just the unmatched play energy, effort and strain, the joy for playing the game of football, all 11 playing as one. You start from there, and then the plays are the plays, but these players, they make these things come to life. But if you start there and that unmatched play energy shows up on tape and that opponent's looking at that every single week, that's what we're striving for.
When you were in Atlanta, there was a lot of talk about the pistol and running the pistol. Is that something that you're married with coming here, or is that, hey, that was our personnel in Atlanta, here it's going to be a little bit different with Baker and whatnot?
Yeah, won't dive too much into that. Obviously, we're tailoring everything to your personnel and what you believe is the best way to move the football, and there's definitely some advantages to that, working out of the pistol. But my background comes from Sean and true run and pass marriage underneath the center, all those things that come with that. And obviously we'll pick our spots with what that looks like exactly, and we'll find out once we kick it off in September.
Some of Sean's concepts have been replicated throughout the league. It is a copycat league, but the fact that you've been in the room with him and part of those sessions and just coming up with things, how valuable for you is that? Or how valuable is that for you as a coach, as far as like understanding the why behind every play?
For sure. No, it's been huge. I went to the Rams in 2019, had never coached before, and Sean is an open book with everything. We meet together a ton as a staff, and you realize quickly how little you know when you go from playing to coaching. And so I got in there, and Sean was nothing but awesome as a leader, all those things that you guys already know and see. But then in terms of just the schematics and the reasons and the whys and the intent of the play, hey, why are we trying to attack this coverage a certain way? Why are we having to can this versus a specific look? All those things, the 5 years that I spent there, I mean, you're getting your PhD in football. And so we had a ton of great coaches that came through there, obviously guys that have head roles now or offense coordinator spots or defense coordinator spots. So Sean was instrumental to my football career. Obviously, he gave me my first start. Always indebted to him that way. But the things that you learn, off the field as well with the leadership was huge, and the scheme stuff is next level. Your understanding of defenses just becomes more and more greater the longer you're there. So all that stuff was big for myself and the rest of the coaches that have come through there.
As you build an offensive staff, obviously that can be a melding of what's here, what you had in Atlanta, and even elsewhere. Any updates there, what you have?
Yeah, we'll leave that to Coach Bowles. We're obviously working through it. I know there's a lot of great coaches here, and so Coach Bowles will update you guys whenever that time comes.
When you're watching film and you're putting together a game plan, and you see Vita Vea just wreaking havoc all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
How much does that affect what you prepare for?
Oh, big time. The run game is challenging. When he's in there, there's not a ton of space. And so you're always having to be cognizant of where he's at when he's out of the game, and trying to activate some different things, when he's not in there, because when he's in there, he is a problem. Our offensive line coach in Atlanta was sweating every time we would be playing him. But he's a great player. I'm excited to be on the other side and obviously not have to face those problems anymore.
Zach, for 2 years, you had sort of a natural focal point was get the ball to Robinson as much as you can. I mean, he's one of the great players in the league. Is this a different kind of challenge, maybe spreading the ball around more? Is it a different kind of challenge for you?
Yeah, again, I wouldn't say challenge like we were talking about earlier. I think it's a great opportunity to have a collection of skill players that can do a number of different things. And so these guys, again, getting to know these guys on a personal level, but just kind of understanding the building and understanding, from their position coaches and talking to those guys, it's a selfless group of guys, and it shows up on tape. All they want to do is win. And so, however the football gets distributed, Baker will make the right decision with the ball where it's supposed to go, dictated on coverage. But it's a blessing to be with an amount of guys that can do a lot of damage with the football.
Coach, have you heard from Mike Evans since you got the job?
I'll kind of leave that out.
Zach, could you talk about third down and red zone with your philosophy? I mean, that's a play caller's dream. Those are the big moments. What is your philosophy, third down and red zone?
Yeah, I think first off, you look at the type of coverages that you're getting in those different windows, like, hey, the 2 to 5 window versus 6 to 10, whatever it ends up being. Identifying those matchups first and foremost. When are you getting the man coverages? When can you take advantage of man coverage in those third down windows? And like I mentioned earlier, it's players over plays in those moments. It's concepts that guys own, and then the ability for the quarterback to take off and go and make things happen when it's not there is huge. And so all those things on third down, red zone, it's about being efficient down there. No negative plays. We did a great job last year of doing that, but that's what the red zone comes down to is like no negative plays. We got to have efficient plays down there, and you got to score when you get down there. And so we're always, you get more scheme specific on red zone just because the coverages are a little bit different every single week. But those are always fun to game plan for. Every team has different challenges. You play Coach Bowles, and like that third down day is a monster. You're trying to work through all the issues with the protection and all those things. And so those are definitely fun times to game plan, knowing how crucial those moments are.
Coach, is there anything from your time with Tom Brady that you again, I know it was small, that you carry with you today as a coach?
I was there a short amount of time, like you mentioned. Obviously, just being up close and seeing the way that he worked, his process, all those things, the way that he was so detailed with his fundamentals is something that I took from as a young player, and still use obviously to this day as a coach. Fundamentals have changed from the quarterback position, from my time there, but just overall, just seeing the detailed process that was a reason why he obviously had a ton of success.
Zach, does it make things a little bit easier offensively when you have an all-pro tackle for Tristan Wirfs?
For sure, all those guys. Tristan speaks for himself. I mean, he's had an unbelievable career. He's still playing at an unbelievable level. Best tackle in the game. And so definitely, you feel great about that spot. You feel great about the right spot. Like, you just feel great about all these guys. And so that's what's exciting about it. I've gotten to meet a couple of these guys so far. I know they're made of the right stuff, and I'm excited to work with that group.
Knowing this and the NFC South as you do, what advantage is there in play calling, knowing these teams you play all the time?
Yeah, I think there's, just the familiarity. Obviously worked with Coach Staley, worked with Ajiro, obviously was around the Atlanta guys last year that are coming back there. So, it definitely is big. You know those players. Again, the schemes. Everybody's going to be evolving this offseason with something new, but I definitely see it as a big advantage for sure.
Zach, this franchise has won 4 out of 5 NFC South titles. The defense is here. Everything is here to win. Just talk a little bit about coming in, putting your stamp, and just helping this team get back to where they want to go.
Yeah, it's day 2 on the job, so just putting everything together right now, staff-wise, all those things. And so I know this place has had a lot of success for a reason. And like I mentioned with Glazer family, Coach Bowles, Jason Light, like they set the table for everything, and the culture just being here a couple days is evident. You see that with the type of players that they bring in, and so that's where it all starts. And obviously, once we put this whole thing together throughout this off season, we get guys in the building, and that's when the real work starts. And looking forward to that opportunity to get to know these guys and obviously build it from there.
Zach, is there something to be said for maybe trying 3 or 4 deep balls per game, just in an effort to stretch the defense and give them something to think about?
Sure. I think as long as coverage dictates, we'll never tell the quarterback to just, launch a deep ball if nothing's there, but you've got to be able to stretch the field vertically. Absolutely. As soon as you don't have that element, the field feels small. And so I know there's some guys here, obviously, that can get down the field. Just watching, obviously, we know Mike. We know what J-Mac can do. Obviously, Chris Godwin and Egbuka, but watching like Tez Johnson, he's got elite speed down the field. He can track it. So all those things are exciting, but exactly what you're saying. You got to be able to stretch the field vertically, horizontally, all those things, and we got the quarterback, obviously, to do it.
Coach, game day, are you booth or sideline?
Be sideline. First year was in the booth, and then last year came down like week 4, and I was kicking myself for not being on the sideline the whole time. So see the game down there just as well as the booth. You get more of a feel. Obviously, you're working with your players. You're getting to look those guys in the eye when they come off. So I would definitely be on the sideline.
Organized chaos, right?
It's honestly not that bad. It's you just want to be able to look the guys in the eye. Like Baker comes off the field. What'd you see? Let's take a look at the iPad. Offensive line, hey, they're leaning on this. Like that communication with the players on game day is huge.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
All good. Appreciate it, guys.